The Simpsons has been on for so long at this point that it's basically become something bigger than itself. No other cartoon has been running this long, and it's become a punchline that The Simpsons have pretty much covered everything that's possible. But The Simpsons has always tried to stay relevant by talking about current events and trends. Now, they can't react as fast as a show like South Park can, but they do have their moments. So, when it was announced that The Simpsons is going to be doing an esports episode, a lot of people were mixed about it. There was some pretty promising news, like the fact that they were working with the company behind League of Legends, Riot, to write the episode and make sure that it was accurate. And as long as this didn't come off as fellow kids or anything like that, then it just would have been a pretty good episode. Instead, I'm not even sure what we got. Now, I'm gonna start by saying I'm a fan of The Simpsons like everyone else is casually, but I have not watched the show in recent years, and a lot of what I think of The Simpsons as comes from that golden era. So I hold it to pretty high expectations, though I know the show hasn't met them in quite a while. I do think people rush too quick to bash the new Simpsons and to bash Simpsons overall, just because it's been going on for so long. And I've always tried to give The Simpsons the benefit of the doubt. I mean, there's still good people writing on it, there's still a team of people working on it, a talented voice cast. At the end of the day, it's another show like anything else. But I think at this point it's undeniable and everyone agrees that The Simpsons should just pack up shop and everyone should move on. Because it's just this hollow ghost of a shell of its former self, and I'm getting too ahead of myself. Let's look at the episode. So, a Simpsons episode about Bart getting into esports. I sure hope to God that the episode title isn't some awful pun. Maybe something like oh my god, they did it. That's right, this episode's called My Sports. So, I mean, the first interaction you have with this episode reading the title is a bad one. Bad start, Simpsons. This episode starts funny enough. This family's just playing board games and they realize that everything's okay because Bart's not there, which is a funny joke. I laugh. One thing I want to mention really quick before I move on is that they do cutaway jokes in this episode, like actual cutaway jokes. They kind of frame them like they're flashbacks. They're like, remember this time, but cutaway jokes nonetheless. Not something I thought I'd see in modern Simpsons. I guess they're getting a little Family Guy over here. So they go up to find that Bart is actually busy because he's playing online games. He's obsessed with this League of Legends. There's some parody name for it, but I'm not gonna call it League of Legends because that's literally what it is. So we come to find that Bart is spending hours upon hours playing this game and he's getting pretty good. He's got a team with a couple of other kids. Also, Krusty has a daughter. I did not know Krusty had a daughter. Is this a new character? I guess I could Google it. At first, Homer wants to do what every dad does and tell their kid not to play too many video games until he realizes that there could be money. Suddenly, Bart and Homer strike up this newfound bond over the game. The whole thing is like a parody of fathers who live through their athletes' sons. They do a whole musical number about it, which I think is like a funny concept, though I don't think we needed like a whole musical number to express it. Kinda just came out of nowhere and felt awkward in my opinion, but I'm just cynical and I hate happiness. Homer becomes the coach of their team and gets more and more serious about them playing, even hiring a professional gamer to teach them his ways, which I'm gonna say right now, this is the funniest part of the episode. This character was really funny. He literally dies once and then he says he lost his perfect gaming streak, and then he says he's gonna work for a family member and we just see him burning his hoodie and wearing a suit. But that doesn't stop them from winning all the way to the World Championship in South Korea. And that's where an episode that's been pretty good so far becomes not that good. I guess it's revealed that out of nowhere, Lisa's had a dream to go to South Korea so that she could be with Buddhists at this Buddhist temple, which makes sense for Lisa, but like, she hasn't really been seen this whole episode and we're pretty far into the story. It's just a weird wrench they threw in at the last minute, and like a convenient plot device to get them all down there. They make probably the funniest joke they've made this entire episode, where they go to South Korea and they make fun of how a lot of animation is done in South Korea. I mean, Steven Universe did this joke, but I laughed more with the Simpsons one. And then the episode just gets kind of really just unorganized. So Bart and his team start the competition, which is great. For like no reason, they kick off Milhouse and replace him. It's a joke that really goes nowhere, and I don't know. I don't really understand why they did this. So then we basically have two storylines as Bart and his friends go to the gaming competition, and Lisa takes Bart and Marge to the Buddhist temple to teach them a lesson, I guess. Basically, it's that whole monk thing where they spend hours making a complex drawing out of sand only to wipe it away. It's about how material possessions don't really bring happiness, blah blah blah. And in turn, she teaches Marge and Homer true happiness, or Zen. Now, already I'm like, why is this happening? Wait, hold on. Because the whole time, this has been an episode about esports. None of these characters had to learn a lesson about letting go and having Zen. So it just comes out of nowhere and it just feels weirdly crammed in. And because this is The Simpsons, Homer gets mistaken for Buddha and starts to believe he's Buddha. And then all of a sudden, in like the last 10 minutes of the episode, he just completely switches his character from this dad coach who's been living through Bart, which is funny, to Buddha, which is what? Why are they doing this? So then, in probably the laziest possible way, they literally have newfound Buddha Homer walk up to the stadium where Bart's playing and finding the on-off switch for the electricity, I guess? And because he's this new peaceful Buddha who realizes materialism is dumb, he shuts down the competition. And then the competition's just over and everybody leaves. The episode ends with them on an airplane, as Bart's getting understandably beat up by his friends because his dad ruined everything, and Homer just getting bumped up to first class, I guess. He just wins. Why did they do it like this? What was their plan? This episode was kind of about esports, but it really wasn't. It was about Buddha at the end. The conclusion, was not satisfying at all, for no reason. I mean, Bart and his team were spending the whole episode working towards a goal. They were working hard. The episode didn't show me anything that made me wish they lost the competition. Maybe if Bart had gotten greedy and lost sight of who he was in terms for the competition, this would have been more satisfactory. But no, he was just himself the entire time. If anything, they were working as a team and being really healthy together. So when Homer shut down the competition, it just felt unsatisfying. None of the characters deserved any of what they got. And Homer's character, which I know he's Homer Simpson, he's dumb, made no sense despite all of that. Why would you spend so much time building up their relationship and this gaming competition and Bart's newfound talent with a musical number even? Just to tear it down to the last act with some weird Buddha plotline. We don't get any resolution for any of this. And I guess that's it for The Simpsons ever touching on esports. The first part of this episode was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. There was a little use of the lingo that made me cringe a tiny bit, but it did not feel at all fellow kids that I thought it would. There was a couple jokes that made me laugh. There's a couple jokes that fell flat. But overall, it was just a good episode of The Simpsons. I mean, I was enjoying it. And then they threw a wrench in the machine with this weird plotline that just did nothing for the overall story and left us feeling unsatisfied and confused. I know The Simpsons plotlines work like this, where a story just kind of spirals and spirals and keeps going, and I always like that. But for this, it just doesn't spiral into anything. It ends up just feeling like nothing happened. Because nothing happened. Was Homer going to be a Buddha for the next couple episodes? No, he gave that up. Overall, this is just really disappointing. Only because it was hyped up so much as an esports episode. It kind of was, but then it wasn't. I felt kind of cheated, and I feel like a lot of fans of esports probably would feel cheated too. But I guess that's as good a time as any to turn the question to you guys. Did you see this episode? Did you like this episode? Did you not? Let us know in those comments down below. If you want to consider helping out the Roundtable, you can support us on Patreon or become a member of the channel. Make sure to like and subscribe, and as always guys, I'm Retro Nemo. This is a review of The Simpsons, and I'll see you next time. Peace.